What is going on, people? We are Tottenham TV here, back again for another Tottenham update. And we have a host of big Tottenham transfer news, reliable things speeding along today in the Tottenham transfer market. Things are moving very, very quickly. I think Levy knows Brian Daigle's in town because the way he is moving, he doesn't want another protest. I can tell you that. Obviously, I'm joined here by Brian Daigle. Ben is currently away, but we'll start with the big news. And obviously, we brought you this before that Bissouma, Tottenham have agreed a £25 million deal with Brighton for the midfielder Yves Bissouma, but now Tottenham are confident that personal terms will not be an issue and Bissouma should have a medical this week. That is brought to you by Gary Jacob. Charlie Eccleshare following on saying that Tottenham have agreed a deal with Brighton for £25 million and the medical is expected this week. The Sky Sports Lyle going even more specific, saying Bissouma will do a medical with Tottenham on Thursday, and Fabrizio Romano says that Tottenham are going to offer Bissouma a 5-year deal, agreement in place to join Tottenham. Conte is getting another midfielder. He says, Ben Jacob says Tottenham's interest in Yuri Tielemans was never too advanced, and Yves Bissouma incoming arrival will allay fears for Arsenal that Spurs could hijack the deal for the Belgians. So it seems like this Bissouma's deal to join Spurs is going to open the door for Tielemans to join Arsenal. And another important update, I feel, from George Bannister saying, understanding that regarding Bissouma's ongoing assault charge is that whether it is a judicial decision or new evidence, Spurs have been told there is no longer a case to answer for him. So people worried about that. It seems, according to George anyway, that might be something that is no longer an issue for Bissouma, because a lot of people have been worried about his ongoing case and what that could mean. But it seems that could well be behind him, and hopefully it is. But look, in terms of medical this week, things are moving very, very quickly for Bissouma. He was probably the player set to come to Spurs Lodge or Hotspur Way on Sunday. That was delayed due to illness with his agent, but it looks like Tottenham could be very close to getting their man.
Well, do you know what, June is always my favourite month of the year. It's my parents' 45th anniversary just gone, my birthday and my 8th wedding anniversary. Ben and Ashley get married. I'm back here with you, and Spurs are doing bits, and this is a big, big bit. And yeah, this could have maybe been the one Sunday, but this has just come out of thin air. All right, there was rumblings growing, but now
we've always been linked with him, haven't we?
There's always been that link, and the value, obviously, with his last year of his contract, have been a lot higher in the 40s. We're talking, but now, if you want to talk about value for money, I don't think there'll be another signing this season with value like that. Last year of his contract, this is a big, big move, a big step forward, and a brilliant addition to the midfield. Yeah,
it's kind of definitely in terms of the progression of the deal. We haven't really heard about Tottenham and Brighton being in discussions or anything like that. It's kind of been like, bam, deal agreed, personal terms on the way, and a medical this week. And that's kind of accelerated very, very quickly. And that's really, really exciting about maybe what other potential deals we have in the pipeline. In terms of Bissouma, his quality, I believe, for me, he's one of the most underrated centre-mids in the Premier League. I think he's been stellar for Brighton for at least a couple of years now. I think he really brings physicality, dribbling ability to dominate a midfield physically. I think his passing range is decent. I think he has an underrated shot as well. He has a really good long-range shot, which maybe he could utilise more at Spurs. And obviously defensively, one of the best defensive mids in the league in terms of tackles and interceptions. He gets across the pitch a lot, covers so much ground, and it gives the platform for others to play. But he's not just that as well. He likes to get forward. He's a really good dribbler, good ball carrier, very press resistant. So all these characteristics are something that could definitely take the team forward.
Yeah, he is. And if you look at it, whenever Sky Sports, Batch the Day, BT or anyone's talking about in the build-up to games, the danger men, he is always mentioned for Brighton. He is a fantastic prospect, and he's showing his talent right now. And you just got to look at the 2 games he's played at the Tottenham Hotspur Stadium. The FA Cup game, he ran the show, especially in the second half. And in the 1-0 defeat, he was heavily involved in everything they did. He was the star man by far. And as we were saying just before on the actual live show, that you got to look at the host of names we've beaten to his signature. This isn't like an Ndombele where a big signing and people were rumoured with him and then never went for it. It was just us. There would have been big names, excuse me, going for this guy, and we've acted quickly to make sure it's us. And it's every way you look at it, the qualities he'll bring to that already good midfield with Bentancur, Højbjerg, and Skip. It's just another addition of class. This is quality over potential instead of the other way around.
Definitely. One quick update, which is actually just been
Breaking
tweeted
news
by Alistair Gold, just on the follow-up to what potentially what George was saying about him saying he believes there's no case to answer. He says, one quick thing, this is from Alistair Gold, I understand social media is a place where seemingly anything goes, but when it comes to reporting police matters or ongoing investigations, etc., as journalists we must write within the set of restrictions and make sure we have the latest and publishable information. So I'm guessing that is in response to people wanting him to report on whether on the Bissouma case. Obviously George isn't a professional journalist or anything, so maybe he can be a bit more looser, maybe, I guess, when it comes to reporting on these matters. But from a factual journalistic point of view, maybe there isn't much to report on that front if he can't confirm that.
Yeah, I mean, I'm sure with Alistair writing that, he's probably been requested an update on this, and other journalists as well have probably been bombarded on their Twitter. What's going on with the court case? Where are the allegations? What's happening? And Alistair's right to come out of that. There's only so much he can report on without himself getting into trouble or threatening his livelihood. So, like we said before, the due diligence has probably been done. That's for the club to deal with. We had an issue with allegations when it came to Harry, didn't we? Like we said, with the whole tax thing that came up, and the club dealt with that accordingly. So I'd imagine they would do their due diligence. There's no way this would go through without them doing that.
Yeah, I completely agree. I don't think the club would have risked their reputation and potentially as well the loss of revenue in terms of signing a player if they didn't believe they weren't 100% sure that there was nothing untoward.
Correct. Sponsors could pull out and everything
all
like
that kind of thing. I don't think they would risk that, would they?
Yeah, I think it's kind of like when you buy a house and you send a surveyor around to make sure there's nothing wrong with the house and whatever. I'm sure Tottenham Hotspur, is the size of the club we are, and any football club would make sure that everything is dead and buried before they follow through with a purchase. Yeah.
Gary Jacob also saying that Antonio Conte wants at least 4 more signings after Bissouma and would like them before Tottenham's pre-season tour. He wants to also sell around 8 players, including Reguilon, Emerson, and Ndombele, Lo Celso, and Bergwijn. And Alistair Gold has followed up on that, saying that that is true. He wants 4 more after Bissouma and he wants a left-sided centre-back, a creative midfielder, a striker, and another wing-back as well. So with maybe Spence coming in, that's a wing-back.
Yep.
With Eriksen coming, we'll talk about Eriksen in a second. That could be the creative midfielder. Could leave another left-side centre-back and a forward, which obviously Richarlison's has been talk of. But the left-sided centre-back, and then that could be either Bastoni or PARROTT. So there's definitely, you can see all the things coming in place, can't you?
You can. And you know what? When we heard 6... we thought 6 was a big number, especially the way we've operated and trying to get things done and rushing it to the end of the season. But as we said, 4 days into the window, number 3, and 2 of them are big. 2 of them are big. Obviously, Foster being backup keeper. 2 of them will be first teamers, without a doubt. This is the step in the right direction. And these numbers now, based on getting them out, which I think is the biggest problem, we could get another. What was the number you said? Another 4 after.
4
this.
After that. Yeah.
You can see it the way we're moving. You can actually see it.
Yeah, potentially. Let's move on to the next bit of news, and this is from David Ornstein, and he says that Jed Spence has expressed a preference to sign for Tottenham this summer as negotiations continue between Middlesbrough and Tottenham over a fee. No agreement so far, but talks ongoing. The 21-year-old right-back favours Tottenham ahead of other suitors. Romano follows that up, saying Conte's rebuild is due to continue with the signing of Jed Spence from Middlesbrough for a similar fee to that of Bissouma. Matt Law also says that Tottenham are ready to bid around £20 million for Jed Spence, with their interest stepping up this week. And he follows up saying Tottenham so far indicating a willingness to pay around 10 million up front for Jed Spence, but the expectation is that a deal will get done. So that is the updates coming with Jed Spencer. Definitely that one seems to be hotting up a lot recently. Seems like we're very interested in getting him through the door, and that's maybe one of the wing backs that are obviously added to Perisic, one of the wing backs that Conte is looking at.
Yeah, I mean, it looks like this one's going to get through now. I was only speaking yesterday when I thought on Friday we were told 72 hours, and then obviously this was dragging on a bit, but today it seems to advance further. For me, this is still a potential over quality. But do you know what? We signed Kyle Walker at a young age, and then he went out on a loan deal and then came back, and we all know what happened. For me, and as I've heard you say, Simeon, I'd rather another right back, wing back came in as well if we got rid of another one. So there's competition for him and he can learn and grow into it. But who knows? He could be the one. But it's another young English guy who has got the potential. He's got the build. He's got the stamina. He's got the engine. So Conte can sprinkle his magic dust and turn him into what he can do.
He's very good at improving full wing backs, isn't he?
He's unbelievable. I mean, you just got to look at what he's done. I mean, I keep Ariane. This is for you, Ben Davies. Over the last, and even for international duty, he has been. He's been phenomenal is a great word for it. So that's what he's doing. So if he can do that with Spence, who'll be young and eager to learn, it could be a good deal. But I'd like to see someone else in there as well at that position.
And also, you know, for the fee they're talking for that for his age, I know it's more potential, but it's not a massive outlay.
No.
Depending on how much they agree on. But if it's, say, 10 to 50 million plus add-ons, it's not a terrible deal. And,
not at all.
And that could be one where you might think, well, that's a steal in a few years' time. Moving on to that, we are talking about Richarlison, and there's been a lot of updates about Richarlison over the last few days. Matt Law says that Everton value Richarlison at well over £50 million, which is the reported fee that Tottenham were looking for looking to spend a few days ago. He also says that Spurs are prepared to offer Winks and Lucas Moura as part of an offer to sign Richarlison, who Everton value at well over £50 million. Sammy Mockbell of the Daily Mail says Everton know of Tottenham's interest in Richarlison. There is a belief that a deal is achievable, but Everton want in excess of £50 million. Fabrizio Romano says Everton value Richarlison at around 70 to 75 million euros this summer, and that is the opening price they're going with. And UOL Esporte, which is a Brazilian publication, said Richarlison has turned down a move to Arsenal as he prefers a switch to either Tottenham or Chelsea as he wants Champions League football. So that obviously definitely bring him closer to the Tottenham fans. But in terms of the opening price, 70 to 75 million euros, obviously that's very, very steep. But do you think there is a potential? Seems to be a lot of confidence that a deal could be achievable, maybe with the players included. But what's your opinion? Would you want him through the door?
So when it first came out, the value, I was like, hell no, hell no. But then listening to people and taking on board what they got to say, I'm warming up to the deal. I still think the price is a little bit, or not a little bit, in fact, quite steep. But what he does give you, and like I said, I've seen lots of Everton fans say he's one of those guys that when you actually see him playing for your team and the amount of work he puts in and what he does for the club, and gives for 90 minutes, you'll be blown away. So obviously Everton fans are going to be very, very upset at seeing him go, and they have been very, very vocal with this. So I am warming to the deal. I just personally still will go in another direction, but the more and more I spend time with you, Simeon, I've got another 2 weeks with you, and like I said, I'll probably have a Richarlison.
Going to fully convert you, mate.
Fully convert me into a Richarlisonite, or whatever you want to call him. So we'll see. But he's not one where I'm like, no, I don't want it at any cost. If it happens, it happens. It's another great addition, and we'll see what he can do. Yeah,
and potentially with other deals coming maybe cheaper than you would expect. For example, Bissouma and maybe, and obviously Perisic on a free, and maybe Eriksen. We'll talk about Eriksen in a sec, but potentially he could be on a free. That does maybe leave a bit more wiggle room if we really want to push the battle for someone. And whether Richarlison is that someone is another question, but I think definitely there is a bit of wiggle room there to really get a forward in of high quality. And I believe Richarlison, put him in a better team, and he'll get us goals. And I think there's going to be plenty of game time for him next season. I think he could play off the left and up front. I think he's been very good for Everton, and I think he could potentially be a star for us. I'd love Richarlison through the door, but Tottenham have also hold genuine interest in another player, and this one's also very interesting. This comes from The Athletic and Adam Crafton. He says Spurs and Arsenal, he says, hold genuine interest in Raphinha, and that's obviously one that comes after the strong interest in Richarlison. He goes on to say Tottenham and Arsenal both hold genuine interest in Raphinha in what may be one of the biggest tussles this summer. Chelsea also hold an interest, but they are also pursuing Ousmane Dembele, while Spurs also consider Richarlison. Barcelona's hopes of Raphinha appeared to be dwindling amid financial turmoil, and they were his top choice, but they have a huge financial obligations to unravel. Leeds are open to selling Raphinha, provided the club's valuation of the player is met. Tottenham are also interested in Everton's Richarlison. However, it is understood that Conte's side will not sign both Brazilians this summer. That does beg the question which one you prefer. But in terms of Raphinha, let's just talk about him for a second. Brilliant. Obviously plays off the right wing. Has an excellent left foot. I think he's probably a better dribbler than Richarlison. In terms of finishing, maybe very, very equal. They're both very hard-working players. Maybe Richarlison's a bit more versatile than Raphinha, but I think Raphinha is an excellent player, and he would be a massive signing for Tottenham. Really puts pressure on Kulusevski as well in that right wing spot in terms of a guaranteed starter, and will really add depth to our forward line, Raphinha.
So, yeah, I mean, with Raphinha, I know a certain person from Tottenham on tour, Danny Kiriakou, will be extremely excited, as will Yori when we were just talking. For me, you know, when we're talking about with Yori, you look at Richarlison and you look at Raphinha, very hard-working players. But I think Raphinha has the more Ginola, edge of your seat, what's he going to do kind of thing, whereas Richarlison's more brute force and everything. And you talk about pressure for Lewandowski. I've seen a lot of people. Could he play a right wing back? Could Raphinha be?
I don't think he's coming to play right wing back.
Yeah, but you never. That's another option. It's like we're saying, Kulu could have played, or Deki could have played a right wing back. So there's more versatility with that. Listen, Raphinha is also very good at set pieces. Very good at set pieces. He excites me, but he excites me like some maximum because you just don't know what he's going to do on the ball.
But he has more of an end product.
He does. It's a very exciting one. I think. If I had to choose between the two, I might slightly shade Richarlison just because he is up top. He's not coming for anything else. He is for up top.
That is a difficult one because Raphinha can play off the right. He has played a couple times up front, but never really impressed me. Whereas Richarlison has definitely shown a much more of an ability to play up top. Both teams have been in struggling teams this last season and shone, so they both have that on their resume. I think technically wise, I do think Raphinha is a bit better in terms of just his precision in shooting and stuff like that. Obviously, he's a bit better in the set pieces than Richarlison. I think he's a bit of a better dribbler.
Oh, for sure.
Than Richarlison. I do think Richarlison might be a slightly better finisher. I think in terms of hard working, they both work really hard. I think Richarlison maybe a bit more than Raphinha, but it's very, very close. Technically, I would say Raphinha is better. But in terms of versatility, maybe quality in front of goal, maybe Richarlison's better. So it's very difficult to know which one. If I'm spending potentially 60 million euros on one of them, it's difficult, man. I think I would... It's a bit weird. I think Raphinha might be the slightly better player, but I think in a weird way, Richarlison might be more what we need.
Okay.
Just because he can play up front as well. And if it's that tight in terms of quality, which I do believe so, like if we're say using FIFA ratings, for example, if Raphinha is like an 85 and Richarlison's like an 84, like if it's that close, then maybe that versatility could tilt it in the way that Richarlison just about. But if we were to get Raphinha, I'll be absolutely delighted. And I think he's a special player as well. And I think he could even be more of a star potentially than Richarlison. So I'm not going to say I don't want Raphinha as well. I think I'd be absolutely delighted with him as well. Maybe he could even do a good job up front. So, look, that'll be an exciting deal.
It will be. And if I say to you, we're talking about this with Spence. If you saw Spence and Raphinha, and they were both deployed to say right wing back, would you have more confidence?
I don't know if I want Raphinha there. He's never played there before in his life. I don't know if I want to train him in that role. Okay. I want him in the forward line. I want him as one of those forward three. That's what I would think. So I definitely wouldn't want to rely on Raphinha at wing back for the season. We could drop
Deki back. Not that I mean, these are just options. I mean, I love Deki up top, but when people said he can play right wing back.
I think he can, but I wouldn't want to rely on him to do it.
There we go.
You know what I mean? So I like if say Doherty got a long-term injury and then I like
which he has.
which he did. Would I want Decky to fill in a few times? Okay, I wouldn't mind that. But would I go into a season saying you're one of my wing backs? I wouldn't want to do that.
There you go.
Next up, we have David Ornstein, and he has reported that Man United understood to have made an offer to Christian Eriksen and are among clubs interested in signing him. The 30-year-old Danish playmaker, a free agent after his Brentford contract has ended. Man United's summer priority remains De Jong, but other options are there too. Alfredo Padula is saying Christian Eriksen has decided not to re-sign with Brentford as he wants to pursue a new challenge. Scott Wilson from the Echo says Eriksen will not be staying at Brentford as he has rejected their offer of a new contract. Spurs and Man United are favourites to pull off the deal. The Sun are reporting that Eriksen has rejected a contract at Brentford. And Fabrizio Romano tweeting out the quotes from Eriksen as of recently saying, I have different options and offers which we are considering, and we have to make a decision. I would love to play Champions League football again. I know how much fun it is, but it isn't essential for me. And with Kulusevski as well, with the quote saying, he is most welcome. He's an incredible player and a wonderful person too. So obviously the big headline news is Man United have apparently made an offer according to David Ornstein. So they're definitely ahead of us in terms of getting the deal done. Hopefully, if Tottenham counter that offer, we can convince him. But we need to get a move on because it sounds like Man United are really interested and want to get the deal done.
So I remember just before we went on air, I said to you, didn't I? I think Man U is more than hot air. I think there's some real weight behind it. And then Romano, who said about the Champions League isn't vital, which put fuel on the fire for me. Yeah, we'll have to see. I mean, Man U are a colossal club, aren't they? And obviously with Ten Hag, and you said before the links training with him recently. I think there's something there, but I think if we do come into the fold, that he will choose us. But it's concerning because Man U will offer him the money that he wants, regardless. Definitely. That's without question. And let's just hope his London roots make us capture the deal.
Yeah, but obviously we can offer him Champions League football, although it's not essential. If we do make him an offer, you have to hope that maybe that would be enough to entice him back to Tottenham. And apparently, Conte is very happy to work with him again. We need a creative midfielder, which Conte said we need, and he definitely fits that bill. So hopefully, if we do counter Man United's offer, there is definitely some legs in Tottenham gazumping Man United to getting him in. Yep. But maybe if Man United are showing more willingness, he might feel like maybe they want me more. And then that all of a sudden, that deal definitely looks like a potential. I do think it looks like a potential right now because maybe going back to Spurs doesn't excite him more than a new challenger, maybe one of the big clubs like Man United.
Well, let's just hope wherever he's on holiday, his phone rings soon, as he said. And it's a call from Tottenham Hotspur or his agent saying Tottenham Hotspur have done this, and then it's back to London. And so I think this deal will get done with us, but Man U are some serious competition.
They definitely are, and they looks like they've made an offer, so hopefully Spurs get a move on. Moving on, we've got updates about Giovanni Lo Celso. Matteo Moretta says Tottenham are looking for around 30 million euros for Giovanni Lo Celso. Villarreal want to keep him, but have no intention of paying that much. And the Times are reporting that Villarreal have discussed a permanent deal for Lo Celso, which they hope will be worth around £16 million plus £5 million in add-ons. But Tottenham want more for the Argentine. What do you think of fair prices for Lo Celso? Is it a case of just cut your losses, move on, and get as much as you can, or do you think we have to stick to our guns at a price?
I think when it comes to this, take what we can get from him. We'll just get him off the books. There was obviously friction between him and Conte. It has not worked out, has it? At any point in this time that he's been a Tottenham Hotspur player, it hasn't worked, and we need to clear the room for the new talent coming in, and if it means getting Lo Celso and his wage off the books, then just do it. 21, 22, 23, just take it. I don't think we're going to get to 30. I think there'll be a record fee for Villarreal as well. They don't pay obscene amounts of money for players. So for me, if they are the most genuine, and his heart seems set on Villarreal as well after his loan deal, then just get the deal done.
Yeah,
just get the deal done.
Get at least 20 million, I would say. And move on from it. Take the loss. It's better to get. Look, at least you're getting a bit of money in as well.
Pretty much covers Bissouma.
You know, you're getting money in despite the fact you've already injected 150 million in, so you're getting you're getting 20 million in. Exactly, could pretty much cover Bissouma, which would be fantastic. And look, everyone's happy.
Exactly.
I think the longer it drags on, the worse it is. So hopefully we get a deal done there. Next one is on Troy Parrott, who scored a goal this weekend against Scotland, Republic of Ireland, in a 3-0 win. Obviously got an assist as well. And Alistair Gold has said that a plan is put in place for Troy Parrott to make his breakthrough at Tottenham in the 23-24 season after another big campaign out on loan. And he goes on to say a long line of championship clubs are believed to be interested in Troy Parrott. Do you believe there's a big future for Troy Parrott at Tottenham from what you've seen of him? Obviously, he's just off the back of a decent loan spell at MK Dons now. Seems to be contributing pretty regularly at this point for Republic of Ireland. Is that one you could be excited about, being part of the Tottenham team?
So obviously, I when I think of Troy Parrott, the first thing I think is the missed penalty at Norwich. I didn't even want him taking that penalty. Too young, and he's had a few loans that haven't worked out, as a certain Harry Kane did. Not comparing him to Harry Kane at all, but it looks like he found a team last season where he got the system that they played in. He started contributing. He stayed injury-free for the last part of the season, and we started to see what he could do. And I think if he can get one more loan deal with the right club, it has to be the right club. Even if it was something like a Norwich that play open, attractive football, or try to play it, then we could see something the season after next. Is there a big future for him? I wouldn't say yes, there's a massive future for him, but that's just with me speaking now. If he can get a good loan spell under his belt, then we will really see. Hopefully we'll earn his stripes in the championship.
Does him scoring goals on the international stage not show that maybe he is getting near that level to step up? Even because I think international is like it's a men's game. It's not like England drew 0-0 with Scotland at the Euros. It's not like Scotland are the easiest team in the world to play against. Scoring a goal against them is impressive. This isn't under 21 levels. It's full international football, and it's not the first goal he scored. So maybe, he is starting to show that he's maturing as a player. Yeah, no,
you're definitely right there. He is showing flashes of brilliance and getting on the score sheet regularly for Ireland, which is great news for them and us. And maybe there is something there. But it could be he's high on confidence from the loan spell he's just had. So he's now tried things like, I remember that lob goal that he scored recently was a lovely little finish. He might be a confidence player, and it comes, and he is very, very high on confidence now. So if he can continue that, then the sky could be the limit. Yeah, I'm looking forward to that potential breakthrough in 23-24. I do agree he needs another loan deal just to make sure, get him in the championship and see what he can do. Next up is about Pau Torres. This comes from Fabrizio Romano, who was on the United stand, and he says, Tottenham are interested in Pau Torres, but at the moment he is not a top target for the club. So this obviously comes after the Bastoni news, which his agent came out and said that right now Bastoni is definitely going to stay into Milan. Do you think we're just waiting to see if that deal can be resurrected or for sure before we make a move for Pau Torres? Do you think he's on the list? Yeah, I think he's on the list, but I think the Bastoni deal is far from dead. I think it's a lot of PR from Inter and everything, and it is the number one target. Even Conte said it, get at all costs, didn't he? So if it all costs me wait till the end of June to see if they sell players, then that's it. So I think Torres has been widely put on it because obviously the Villarreal connection and the Celso and get the deal done. But I think Bastoni is far from dead, and it's still the genuine target. So we'll wait and see. But from what people showed on a lot of stats, Torres didn't actually do too well. It was on Sean Butler's show where they were talking about his attributes and his stats recently, and out of the list of defenders like Skriniar and everyone like that, Torres came out last. But Bastoni is definitely the one I want. Yeah. So, I rate Pau Torres highly, and I actually think in our system he could do really well. I think defensive stats are hard to quantify in terms of their relevance a lot of the time, because just because someone makes more headers or interceptions as another one as a defender, it doesn't mean that they're better, because a lot of the times the defenders at the bottom of the league will come out high in those stats because they have to do more defending. So look, whether Torres, what category falls under, remains to be seen, but I really rate him, and I think we should definitely look at him if Bastoni is not an option. Finally, last but not least, we've got Stephen Bergwijn and the updates from Michael Bridge of Sky Sports, and he says Tottenham and Ajax currently miles apart in the valuation of Stephen Bergwijn. Spurs are aware of interest from elsewhere and believe the player will have a big future. Obviously, we're probably waiting
on his future, maybe to pull the trigger on a Richarlison / Raphinha. I'm a big fan of Bergwijn. I think 20 to 25 million is more than fair. I think he could be worth double that in a few years' time if he has good seasons, but unfortunately hasn't quite got the game time. Maybe his quality is deserved. What do you think is a fair price for Bergwijn?
I'm completely with you, but what I will say with this one is I'm a huge fan of Bergwijn as well, and obviously you and me got to see the magic
we did.
at Leicester together, which no one will ever take away from us. But the thing is, I haven't been happy with Bergwijn the way he's acted in the last week or so. With I want out. It's understandable you want out. I'm just not a fan of the way he's doing it. Listen, he needs to go now. It's gone beyond. I think it's gone past the point of no return, and it's just getting this value. But again, like we were speaking about Lo Celso, it may be one of those. If we're going to get these players in, and Conte wants another 4 after Bissouma, we may have to have our wings clipped and say, do you know what? These buys were bad buys. They didn't work out. We're trying to bring in the new blood. Let's just take a hit. So the players that we do bring in are here and of real substance. So I would take 25. I'd even go probably down to 22.5. It's just something that needs to go on and drag on in case we're going to have an unhappy player in the camp come July. And that's the last thing we need.
All right, so that is the update for today. There's a lot to get through because we haven't been with you for a few days, but though that was a lot, and hopefully this could be a very, very exciting week for Tottenham fans and for Spurs as a club as we look to push through on certain deals with like Bissouma and Spence, and there's even rumours that we could have Bissouma, Spence, and Eriksen wrapped up by the end of the week, and if that's the case, that'd be very exciting. But look, thank you for joining me, Brian. Thanks again for joining me for another update.
No worries.
Like, subscribe, and comment. And as always, come on, you Spurs.